Hey everybody, this is 6.6b, Systems of Inequalities Continued. As always, feel free to pause if you feel that I'm going too fast and you need to catch up. The do now, they ask you to fill in the blank with the word dashed or solid. So remember, you have your 4 different inequality symbols. And the first two, for number 1, is the less than and the greater than symbol. For those, we're going to have to use a dashed line. For number 2, you have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, you're going to use solid. Easy way to remember is that these, in number 2, these ones have little solid lines underneath. Fill in the blank with the word up or down. So if the inequality has a y is greater than, or y is greater than or equal to, well, greater than means you're going to shade up. Which means for number 4, if it's y is less than and y is less than or equal to, you're going to shade down. Alright, so a little review there from the past couple lessons. For number 1, it says state the inequality that represents the graph. Well, remember our inequalities, right, are written in that slope-intercept form, so we need to find m and we need to find b. The b value is the easy one to find. That's where you cross the y-axis. So where on this line do we hit? And it looks like we hit right here at positive 3. So b is 3. And now we need to find one other point to determine our slope. So where does our black line hit the corner of a box? And I'm going to follow that line all the way through. And the first time that I see it hit the corner of a box is right here. So I need to calculate that rise over the run. Okay, so let me see if I could erase this blue line so we could see a little better. And the rise over the run from the leftmost point, this one, to the rightmost point is down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 5 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 5 over 4. Now we have to use those rules from the do now to determine which inequality symbol we need to use. So I see shading above, and I see a solid line. So solid line and shading above would have to be greater than or equal to. Okay, so we get y is greater than or equal to negative 5 over 4x plus 3. We're going to do the same thing for the second portion of number 1. Again, we need to find, and I'll change this color up for us, we need to find m and we need to find b. The b value this time crosses at a positive 4. And again, I'm looking for another point where we hit the corner of a box. And the first time I see that is right here. So from the leftmost point to the rightmost point, we are going up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your slope is 3/5. Again, now we have to determine the inequality symbol. I see a dashed line and shaded above. So a dashed line shaded above, well, dashed would be one of these two, and above means it would be the greater than symbol. So y is greater than 3/5 x plus 4. Number 2, they want you to graph the system of inequalities. So they give us 2, and we're going to have to put them in 2 colors. So we'll say I'll do one in green, and we'll do one in purple. So remember, you have an m and a b. So my b this time, or my y-intercept, is negative 7. So put a point at negative 7 on the y-axis. And our slope is 2 over 1. So go up 2 to the right 1 each time. And then when you can't go up and to the right anymore, you go down and to the left to fill in that last point. Now, for this one, we have the greater than or equal to symbol. Like we've been talking about, that means a solid line. So I'm going to connect these points with a solid line. I'll thin that line out. And there we go. I'm going to save the shading for last so we can have some nice clean canvas here to do our second inequality. So again, we have an M and a B, but this time the purple inequality starts at a +4, crosses the y-axis at a +4. And then our slope again is 2/1, so up 2 to the right 1 each time. Okay. Now, this time it's the less than or equal to symbol. Again, we're going to use that solid line. Okay. So, this is where the shading could get a little tricky. So I'm going to do the shading for the green equation with yellow and the shading for the purple equation with blue, so we could see that nice cross pattern where it's going to make green when they blend together. So greater than or equal to 2x minus 7. So greater than the green line would be above. So that's this entire section. Everything above the green line. Okay. But then if we look at the purple equation that we need to highlight in blue, it says less than or equal to, which means below the purple line. Remember, our solution set is where these shaded regions overlap and create the green color shading. Okay, so your solution set is everywhere in here, and I'm going to just stretch a nice S for solution across the solution set. State the coordinates of one point that lies in the solution set A. Well, doesn't the origin, right smack in the middle, lie in that green shaded region? So 0, 0. Now that's not your only correct answer. You have many different correct answers. Any point within that green shaded region would be part of the solution set. State the coordinates of one point that does not lie in A. Well, that means you have to take a point from either the yellow shaded region or the blue shaded region. So I'm going to take this point right in the top left corner of the graph, and that is -10, +10. Again, any portion of the yellow or the blue. And I'm just going to put that as a note. Green shade. And this would be yellow or blue shade. Number 3, we're going to do the same process. So for the remainder of this worksheet, pretty much the same process. Consider the system of linear inequalities, graph the system. So we have a blue line, and we have a red line. We have our M and our B. And remember, in front of this x value is really a 1/1. Same thing here, -1. We do that in red. -1/1. Okay, so if we're going to plot the blue inequality, the B value is -3. So our y-intercept, the blue line, crosses the y-intercept at -3. And our slope is 1/1, which means up 1 to the right 1. Make sure on your graphs you're putting all the possible points. That's what they want you to do on your New York State Regents exam next year. Okay. Now I see the greater than or equal to symbol, which means this blue line is going to be solid. And we'll worry about the shading when we're done. The red line, y is greater than or equal to negative 1 over 1x minus 1. So our red inequality is starting at negative 1. And it's going down. So we actually have a nice intersection point between these two lines. Now I see the greater than or equal to symbol, which means we are going to use a solid line. Okay, and now we can worry about our shading. So the blue line I'll do in blue, the red line I'll do in this orange color, and we'll kind of see what these two merge together to create. Y is greater than or equal to the blue line, which means I'm going to shade above our blue line. All right. And for our red equation, it's the same thing. Y is greater than or equal to, so I'm going to shade above this red line. So now it doesn't really make a nice color for us, but we now have a blue shaded region, this dark greenish looking shaded region, and an orange shaded region. Okay, so our solution set is anywhere in here. So the coordinates of a point that lie in A, well, what if I just took this point right here, 0, 6? That falls in that dark green shaded area. And one that does not lie in A, well, I could take anything from the blue, the orange, or even the white. So let's just take one from the white, 0, negative 10. There you go. Number 4. Just more practice. This one's a little unique. We're definitely not going to do that blue and orange again. We're going to go back to yellow and blue. This inequality right here, it's not in mx plus b form. It simply just says y is greater than negative 2. So if we were to plot this, I'll do it in green. The y-axis is the line that runs straight up and down. Y is negative 2 is at this point right here. Since there's no x value, there's no slope, this line doesn't go up or down, right? The slope is just 0. It's 0 slope, which means our inequality is going to run horizontal. Totally left and right. Okay. Now greater than, this is the first time today that we're actually seeing a dashed line. Oops. Should have changed the color on that one. Okay, so here's our dashed line. Now for the top inequality, same process we've been doing the last several problems. Change the color to blue. And we have an m value and a b value. M is negative 5 over 1, and our y-intercept is positive 3. Negative 5 means down 5 and to the right 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 1. We run out of room, so now I can go up and to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 1. So we should have 4 distinct points there. Greater than or equal to means a solid line. I'll make sure we use the right color this time. Solid line. And there's your line. Now, greater than or equal to my blue line, my blue inequality. Greater than, put your pen on a point and go up. So that means this side. But y is greater than my -2, our green inequality. Well, above and below is very easy on a horizontal line, so we're going above for greater than. And again, we should be realizing now our solution set is where that blue and that yellow shaded regions overlap each other and create the green. Which means our solution set is in here. So I'm going to take a point that lies in the solution set A, and we'll go with 8, 0. I'm going to just mark again, this is the green shade. And a point that does not lie in A, well, that could be anywhere in the yellow, the blue, or the white. And I'm going to go with, let's take a point over here in the white, and that would be -5, -6. But again, you could choose any point in these regions. Green, yellow, blue, and white. All right, last one, then we move on to the exit slip. Y is less than 3. Very similar to our y is greater than -2. Very similar. We know this line is going to be horizontal, and this inequality is either going to be shaded above, below. Y is less than 3. So, put your first point at 3, and we know that this line runs totally horizontal. And again now, less than means a dashed line. Alright, tough to see because the points are really close together, but that's okay. Dashed line. Next one, y is less than or equal to -x minus 2. Remember, that's -1/1, and we are starting at a -2. We're going to go down and to the right. We have a solid line this time. Okay. Less than, the green would be below. So below our green inequality. And less than or equal to my blue inequality would also be below. So below the blue. Okay, your solution set is that green shaded region. We'll pull any point out of there. I'm going to use 0, -4. And anything that's not an A, let's just use 0, 8. Keep it simple. Exit slip. Macy's sells shoes and belts. The store makes a $5 profit on the sale of shoes, but loses $4 on the sale of each belt. The store wants to make a profit of at least $20 from the sale of the shoes and the sale of the belts combined. So, we're going to have to write two inequalities. We're going to focus on the first one. $5 on shoes, or X. 5X. But they lose $4 on the sale of each belt, Y. So 5X minus 4Y. They want the profit to be at least $20, which means $20 or more. So that is greater than or equal to 20. Now we need to rewrite this inequality in terms of Y in order to graph it. So we want to isolate or get Y alone. So I'm going to minus 5X on both sides. 5X's cancel on the left. Negative 4Y is greater than or equal to negative 5X plus 20. I'm going to divide everything by negative 4 to isolate that Y value. Negative 4's cancel. Y is greater than or equal to, mistake. Alarms, bells, and whistles should be going off. We just divided by a negative number, which means we flip that inequality symbol over. Y is less than or equal to. A negative over a negative makes a positive, so 5/4 X, and 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. So there's your first inequality right there. Y is less than or equal to 5/4 X minus 5. They also sell t-shirts and sweaters. They make a profit of $6. Let's see. Yep. $6 per t-shirt and a profit of $4 for each pants. Why? The store wants to make a profit of at least $24 from the shirts and the sweaters. This should say sweaters. So, your new inequality symbol, or your new inequality, is going to say 6X, $6 per t-shirt, plus a profit of $4 per sweater. Y, at least, again, is greater than or equal to 24. And again, we are trying to isolate that Y value. So I am going to subtract 6X from both sides. 6X's cancel. 4Y is greater than or equal to negative 6X plus 24. I'm going to divide everything by 4. Y is greater than or equal to negative 6 over 4. Well, that could be simplified. Both of those numbers are even. They could be divided by 2. So that really becomes negative 3 over 2x. 24 divided by 4 is 6 plus 6. Here is your second inequality. Now what we're going to have to do, obviously, is what we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 questions. We're going to have to plot these inequalities on the graph. So let me bring them over. Y is greater than or equal to negative 3/2 x plus 6. And y is less than or equal to 5/4 x minus 5. Remember, you have an m value and a b value. Start at the b value, negative 5. We need to go up 5 and to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. And go down and to the left. So your blue inequality should have 4 distinct points. Our line style is solid. For your green inequality, you're going to start at a positive 6, and your slope tells you to go down 3 and to the right 2. Greater than or equal to, again, means a solid line. And all we have to do is shade. Less than or equal to the blue means underneath, below. Greater than or equal to the green inequality means above. And again, our solution set is where those shaded regions overlap and make that green color. There's your solutions in there. And since both of these lines are solid, the intersection point is also a solution. Choose a solution. Let's use that intersection point, 4, 0. Okay. All right, thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out via email, Google Voice.